there, friends and sane persons, and welcome to another episode of Wednesday Whimsy. My name is Kyle, and Wednesday Whimsy is a short show I do every Wednesday evening where I talk about a board game, a top 10 list, or some other board game-related topic, whatever happens to be on my mind. Well, as you all know, if you've been longtime viewers of Wednesday Whimsy, I have been digging myself out under a mountain of Kickstarter games. And one of those Kickstarter games that recently came that I've been digging myself out from under is, and it's a big old box, Nature. Now, Nature is obviously not the most exciting name of a game, but Nature is really interesting because it is a reprint and a reworking of a game that I really took a shine to 8-9 years ago called Evolution. I guess we might say it's an evolution on evolution. Anyway, I'll tell you a little bit about it. I'll do some actual more comparison with Evolution just because this is something, it really is just Evolution repackaged, but I want to talk about some of the differences, and then I'll tell you what I think about it. So let's get going. So what is it about? Well, Nature is about nature. And you're going to be playing over the course of 4 rounds or 5 if you use one of the expansions. You're going to be playing the role of a bunch of species, and you're trying to develop, you're trying to get traits that are going to help you to survive, but mostly it's a competition for food. This game is survival of the fittest. And so what you're going to be doing is every round you're going to be trying to feed your species, and every food that you eat is going to be a point that you score. And at the end of the game, you're going to get a couple of points for having your species stick around for the whole game. And then you'll count up how much food you have, and that's your score. So let's talk about how it works. And let me open my, actually, I already have my share open. Look how well prepared I am today. Nature, what you're going to do is, it's at its core, it's really a card game. And so there's this watering hole. This is the watering hole, of course. And the watering hole is going to be populated with a certain amount of food each round. And that amount of food is known from the beginning of the game. For fans of Evolution, that's a change. And so every round, it's going to be between, 2, 3, 4 food per player is going to be coming in. And then you're going to get a hand of cards, and you're going to get 1 new species. You get 1 flat species each round. Another change from Evolution. And you're then going to be able to play those cards, and you can use the cards either to, as you can see over here, like these cards have a trait on them. So, if you're going to be an opportunistic species, that's going to help you with some things. If you've got claws, that's going to help you with attack and defense. You can play those cards on your species as actual traits, or you can discard the card and either improve the species size, which these are, I think, old components. They're not the ones I have, or maybe they're a different edition. You can improve its size or its population. Population is how many individual animals have to eat each round, and size is going to be how much food you take when you go hunting or foraging or however it is. Then everyone's going to kind of do that piece. It's technically in turn order, but you could also do it simultaneously once people know the game. And then you're going to take turns feeding your species. And species come in 2 varieties. You can be an herbivore, and the herbivore eats plants, but can also handle a little bit of meat now and then. Or you can be a predator, and a predator only wants meat. It's like Arby's. It wants the meats. So what you're going to do then is, if you're a predator, you've got to attack the other species. And so you're going to look at your size plus increases in the size based upon your traits, and you'll take your turn, you'll go after, and you'll eat one of the species, and that'll reduce its population by 1. And then you'll feed yourself equal to your size. If you're an herbivore, you're going to come out to this communal pool here, and you're going to take food equal to your size, as long as you have room for it. If you don't have enough population, you leave what you didn't take behind. And it's real simple. You're going to go around the table. Everybody's going to be feeding your species until either there's no food left, in which case the unfed species are going to die off, or until everyone's been fed. Now, another thing you have is each of these cards has a number in the bottom, and that's how much food the card is worth. Because when it's your turn, if there's not enough food in the watering hole, you can discard a card that you chose to save. You can discard it to sort of increase the watering hole, the amount of food there by that much. That doesn't work for meat, right? It's just going to drop plants in the pool. But it's another way, like if you didn't have, if you're a small species and there's not enough food left, you're able to kind of feed yourself. Then you're going to take the food that you ate, you're going to put it, depending on your edition, either in a little bag. I have the deluxe edition. It has a little drawstring bag. Or if you've got in the standard edition, it's going to be a player screen. You're going to put it behind there. And then at the end of the game, you're going to score up how many points you have, and that's going to be your score. It's pretty simple. That's kind of how where you see this interesting artwork, the various animals. I was hoping for some, these are just from the base game, it looks like, and that's fine. So before I talk about what makes it special, I want to talk about kind of the big differences between it and Evolution, because if you've played the old Evolution game, it sounds really similar. So here are the big differences. The first thing, in Evolution, if you wanted to be a predator, you had to draw randomly off the top of the deck a predator card. And then you could use that as your trait. And it was, all your traits were face down, you'd reveal them, and this huge thing with claws is suddenly a predator. In this game, it's a little different. The predator cards are in a separate stack, kind of off to the side of the deck. And if you want to be a predator, you just draw one. And you do it on your turn, so everybody sees what you're doing, right? I mean, if you're first in turn order, everyone knows what you're going for. Now, if you're last, that's kind of an advantage to going last. Although if you're last, you're also eating last. So I guess that's why you evolved to be a predator. So the way predator cards work is different, and I think that's positive. Also, I mentioned as I was talking about how the game works, you can discard a card and have that be extra food that's available to you kind of at the start of your, you can do it really anytime, but it's mostly at the start of your turn, and then you can kind of go around and get that. That's another change that's a positive. Also, in original Evolution, you were able to, in addition to sort of making your species bigger or making it more populous, you could discard a card just to create a new species. And so you could, one strategy in the game was to sort of spam like 5 small species and hope that some of them survived, which, I mean, I guess if we're talking about Evolution, maybe that's a real thing. But in this game, it's not that way. In this game, you get 1 species each round. And I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I like it because it's predictable, but also, you can find yourself with an extra card or 2 and you're like, I really wish I could just create a new species. But I think for the balance of the game, I think that's a net positive probably. Another thing that's different is in Evolution, you had a huge old deck, and I think there were like 20 traits or so in it, different traits. And depending on what you drew, you might get what you wanted or you might get something else. In this game, I think there's like 8 or so traits in the base game, and then there are modules. So like you can add the Jurassic module, and that adds certain other traits. Or you can add the flight module, and that adds certain other traits. And so you know what is going to be in each of those decks, and they have different backs, and you've got a little player aid that tells you what's in there. It's not a surprise. But like if you wanted to go for a really big dinosaur, you would go and draw things out of the Jurassic deck. If you wanted to play with the flight module, you could draw out of there. And so everyone can kind of, it's kind of like a cafeteria. You can kind of go and get whatever you want. Now, you're still, luck of the draw, but you're able to have a little bit more control in determining which cards you're going to get and which traits you're going to get and kind of craft your strategy that way. And I think that's a big positive. I'll say it also has a small negative, and that is that the base game is really kind of stripped down, bare bones, because you only have those 8 or so traits. And, after a few plays, you'll find that that you've seen them all. Now, the game's still fun, but there's not really any surprise. So you're going to want to sort of gravitate towards those modules pretty quickly. So those are kind of the differences. But I think now that we're talking about what makes this game special, I think if you like Evolution, there's a lot to like here. I think it takes, Evolution came out, I should probably have checked, but it was a real long time ago. My brother told me it was his first Kickstarter. And I remember, it was 2014, so it's, the 11th anniversary, I guess, of Evolution. So in the last 11 years, they've learned a lot. They went through Oceans as well, and I never really played Oceans, but if you like Evolution, there's a lot. This is a great evolution on that. I think there was a lot of thought put into many of the decisions, and that's going to help people enjoy the game more, because something people didn't like about Evolution, I didn't like, is if you want to be X, you've got to draw into it. And especially with the Predators, if you just drew a hand of nothing but Predator cards, they don't do anything for you. All they do is make you a Predator, and you're like, great, I guess I'm going that way. And I like that there's more choice here. What else makes it special? The theme here is really strong. For just a dumb card game, you really kind of feel like you're adapting, right? you're like, okay, this is a game where there's not much food, and so I'm going to have to find my own way. I'm going to have to be self-sufficient. And so you're like, okay, I'll be opportunistic and a scavenger so that when someone else is hunting, I've got free food from there. Or, you're just going to fly, right? You're going to be a tiny little bird, but real fast because the birds are going to jump in, get their food, and run away. There's a lot more theme in here than you might think. And I think there's a lot of thought that was put into the different cards. And I find that really enjoyable. The rules are super simple, right? I mean, it's play a card, and then play your cards, make your species, and then go eat the food, and then score. And it's 5 rounds, and it's done. Oh, that's another change. I think Old Evolution was 8 rounds. This one's 5. It's faster. It's shorter. That's better. Old Evolution could get a little long in the tooth at times. So I think there's a lot of that going on too. It's easy. It's accessible. There's also a nice app. It's I think it's free. It's in prototype form. But if you go to the company's website, northstargames.com, you can try the app version for free, I think, and just sort of see. And it has 2 of the modules in it. I don't know if my box has 5 modules. It has flight. It has Jurassic. It has tropical rainforest, natural disasters, and one more that I can't remember, but it was, and climate. Climate is going to be, it's basically the climate module from Old Evolution, which is things that make the game harder. But I don't know if all of those are going to be available at launch retail, because I've got the Kickstarter version. I think you're definitely going to want Jurassic and Flight. I think if you have those 2 and just the base game, that's going to kind of have you at where you were with Old Evolution. So there's a lot to like here. Simple, very accessible, great artwork. The component quality in the deluxe edition is fantastic, and it comes with a good storage system. It seems dumb. It's sort of those like takeout trays like I often complain about in games, but it comes with stickers. So you can put like the meat sticker on the meat box, and you can put the whatever it is, the plant sticker on the plant box and the banana sticker on the banana box. And it's easy to find things. It's well organized. The box is easy to pack up, easy to take down. A lot to like here. So where's the but? If you don't like Evolution, you'll hate this, right? If Evolution was a game that you were like, oh, I'm done with that, I don't know that this one's going to bring you back in. If you hated the sort of in-your-face, take that aspect of the Predators, it's still here. So, I mean, be aware of that. Also, again, I think the base box might be a little too light for its weight. I think you're really going to want at least a couple of those expansions early on. But other than that, and also it comes with a solo mode, and I found the solo mode to be really underwhelming. It was a whole lot of, okay, check this, check this, check this, check this. Okay, I play the card here. And that's a little more thought, I think, than this game deserves. Playtime, though, excellent. So, take that for what it is. But other than that, there's not a whole lot that I dislike. So where do I come out? Well, I'm going to give you sort of 2 ratings, and I'll tell you, I've actually dropped my rating on Evolution. I originally had Evolution at an 8, and I think I put this one at a 9 out of 10. But that took my my rating of Evolution down to a 7, because I don't think I'll ever play Evolution again. I think this is the definitive edition right now. There's no real need to go back. There's nothing that Evolution has that this game does not do better. And I think that's worthwhile. Also, the fact there's a free app, you can go and try it before you buy it. Just go and see if you like it. And if you can't find it, if for some reason they've taken it down, it was up a couple of days ago when I think on Sunday was the last time I looked at it. So it should still be available. But if it's not, you can play regular Evolution, get a sense for whether you like the game, and just know that this game does it a little bit better. So anyway, that's what I've got for you today. I'll be back again next week with another board game related topic. I'm not quite sure what it's going to be. There's a lot of games I've been playing lately, and actually I do owe you guys an episode on 3D printing and board gaming as well. So maybe that might be the one I finally get around to do. But for now, I'm going to wish you safe travels, courage when you need it, and I hope to see you back again soon on another episode of Wednesday Whimsy. Bye-bye.